Hi, good evening. My name is Danielle, and I will be presenting tonight. So for my topic for this research paper, I chose to research ageism and its effects on the digital divide. So I would first like to start off by asking the question, what is ageism? So the World Health Organization defines ageism as the stereotypes, how we think, prejudice, how we feel, and discrimination, how we act towards others or oneself based on age. I also wanted to give a definition of the digital divide for anyone who might not know. And it's the economic, educational, and social inequalities between those who have computers and online access and those who do not. So the three research questions that I've chose to help guide my research are: how does ageism and the discriminatory attitudes exhibited towards older adults contribute to the digital divide? 2, how does ageism inhibit older adults in the development of skills that are necessary to succeed in a world that is increasingly driven by technology? And 3, how might society and the developers of technology mitigate the effects of ageism as it relates to the digital divide? So some of the main arguments and findings that I found throughout my research are that ageism often receives less attention than other forms of discrimination, but it's also more prevalent, internalized, and socially accepted. So while it might not receive as much media attention compared to other forms of discrimination, it's still very much in existence. So throughout much of the research that I encountered, ageism is kind of described as more of an invisible form of discrimination. So ageism can affect various points of the life cycle of development of technology, from its inception and design to the final product and to the feedback that is collected from that product. So often the data that is collected regarding digital trends is skewed as it does not properly represent the input of older adults, which further excludes older adults from the design process. Prejudices associated with ageism can be both internal or external, with commonly held stereotypes such as the technophobic older adult acting as a self-fulfilling prophecy. So these ageist beliefs can be just as much of a barrier to the use of technology as external beliefs, and also to the actual design of the technology itself. So both self-efficacy and intergenerational support can help to support older adults in their adoption of technology. And it's important to know that ageism can intersect with race, gender, socioeconomic status, health, and levels of education. So ageism isn't something that exists only by itself. And finally, ageism can also be found in artificial intelligence, for example, in facial recognition systems. So more input will be needed from older adults in order to overcome this discrepancy. So how can we as a society overcome ageism? So increased self-efficacy and intergenerational support can help, as well as increased support for public libraries, which can help teach in-demand digital literacy skills. In a study conducted by the University of Rhode Island in 2016, college students were asked to participate in a reverse mentoring program with older adults. Through this mentoring program, college students were able to overcome some of their previously held ideas about older adults and gain a greater appreciation for them, showing interest in career paths related to supporting older adults. So public libraries as well can help older adults learn in-demand digital literacy skills in a safe and comfortable learning environment. So moving forward, more support will be needed for public libraries in teaching these skills. And then finally, policymakers and local governments will need to be more inclusive of older adults and design policies that help to teach digital literacy, which can improve our society as a whole. Implications for future research and practice. So there's plenty of research to be carried out on this topic when looking at the intersectionality of ageism and sexism, or maybe even looking at how the creation of data and algorithms can be biased against older adults. So especially in the area of artificial intelligence, there will need to be more research into ethical areas such as these to make sure that the data is being used in a fair way. And then finally, what I've gained from this course and my research is that the attitudes and prejudices exhibited towards older adults can influence the entire life cycle of the development of technology, further creating a divide between who is included and who is not. I've also learned that ageism intersects with other forms of discrimination, such as sexism, racism, classism, and others. So I think the biggest takeaway for me when I was doing research was that there are solutions to how to mitigate ageism and the digital divide, as demonstrated by many of the sources that I've located. But these solutions do require teamwork, so between policymakers, companies, and governments. Some of the other major takeaways for me from the class were that how varied older adults are and how many factors can influence their use or non-use of technology. And then one final takeaway for me from this class was that it changed a lot of the preconceived notions that I had about older adults. So I've definitely gained a lot of insight that I didn't have before. And that is pretty much everything that I have for you tonight. So thank you for listening.